Hey, what's up everybody? Prime22 here, bringing you another episode of the Transformers Lore Podcast. The Transformers Lore Podcast is basically just an audio version of Transformers Lore, just because these particular stories don't have any visual medium to it, so it would be hard to make a video out of something that you really can't see. So we just have this in podcast form, and you know, just sort of a discussion, I guess. And previously we've been starting our road on Beastars Uprising and the various prose stories that come with that. At the time of recording, I have just released the Broken Windshields episode. I'm pretty far ahead of my schedule to upload, so that's pretty good. We're getting a lot of good feedback of doing Beast Wars Uprising, so, I like that. I like that you guys are enjoying this stuff. Also, one person mentioned that in the thumbnail and in the actual video itself, I misspelled windshields as windchilds, so that's embarrassing. But the show must go on, so let's continue to talk about Beast Wars Uprising with the story Burning Bridges. Burning Bridges, of course, referencing the social phenomena of, eliminating ties, eliminating networks, eliminating, previous ties that bond, that sort of deal. Before we start, I want to remind myself to say that this is Primex 215.19, or rather under Prime Theory we would say Primex 209.0 Gamma. See, there are two trans-tech notations for this universe, Primex 209.0 Gamma and Primex 215.19 Epsilon. And oftentimes the trans-techs will give two or three or more notations for various other, for the same universe. Sometimes there actually is a difference, if just a minuscule one, but oftentimes it's really just the same universe. And since Primex 209.0 Gamma comes first, or at least as part of the founding part of the lore, Prime Theory would use Primex 209.0 Gamma. So, Burning Bridges. We open up in a facility of this huge bridge called the Melpomene bridge. It's a bridge over this huge chasm that connects the two cities of Aldehex and Callus. Now, guarding the bridge is an outpost that includes overcharged drones, and these are really huge, basically Blitzwings. Just repainted Blitzwings, but they're drones, and they were given to the Transformers by the Quintessons for an overcharged price. But the two Maximals, Stiletto and Overshoot, are charged with, overseeing these overcharged drones and making sure they don't get into the hands of the Rebellion, the Resistance. As the Grand Uprising is underway, Fortress Maximus went dark half an orbital cycle ago, as they say, and that happened in Head Games. We learn more about the war, how a suicide bomber has destroyed Crystal City for the Resistance, that sort of deal. So Overshoot has pretty much been here for a while, and he's pretty chill about it, but Stiletto is sort of, just, how do I describe it? Stiletto's being very distant. Stiletto is very cold, and the reason why is because it's assumed that she has a dark past. And we get little flashbacks of her sort of PTSD, really, about her traumatic past. Or at least what we are believed to be as her past. We'll get into that later. But she feels guilt over an incident in which there was a riot because of, the rebellion, the resistance, in one of the cities. And Stiletto was part of the Maximal Command Security Force, the police force, really, of Maximal Territory on Cybertron, really enforcing the will of the builders. But, during the riot, Stiletto finds, I think a Predacon, C-Panic, I think his name is, carrying a weapon, and he's like a drug dealer, and she's like, oh god, we gotta take him down. Come with me, Beta Bear. And for those of you who know who Beta Bear is, this isn't gonna go well, because Beta Bear's the only thing he's known for is dying in Megatron Origin. So the Beast Wars Uprising Beta Bear probably doesn't fare any better. They go after C-Panic. I think Beta Bear dies during this. And Stiletto, I could be wrong, I don't remember. It's been like 2 days since I've read this, which is a longer time period than the last few episodes of the Transformers Lore podcast, which is bad, I guess. But Stiletto eventually kills C-Panic, but then she realizes that the weapon she thought he had was really a camera, and she's like all guilt, feels really guilty about, she just killed a man. Now, she keeps getting these flashbacks. They keep impeding her work. Her co-workers are getting angry at her because she can't do stuff right. She goes in with other Maximals like Wolffang to take out a criminal, and she just can't bring herself to attack the criminal. So Wolfgang's, I think his arm or leg, I think his leg gets shot off. Interestingly enough, it changes from blue to red after being shot off, but we'll talk about that in a future episode. So, patience is running thin, so the Maximal Command Security Force decides that they need to send Stiletto to a Nemosurgeon to wipe out her memories of the event. And Nemosurgeons are they have the little needle fingers that they can, wipe out memories. Same way that Shadow Play works, really. And they send her to Vampire, who's a Nemosurgeon. He's a bit creepy, but, And Vampire's like, yeah, we'll wipe out your memories of this event, don't worry. However, after she undergoes the surgery, she still has memories of shooting down Sea Panic, and she feels guilty. She still feels it worse, and eventually she just decides to move to her outpost at the bridge, at the meme bridge. I forget what its name was. I'm exiting out of things I'm deleting things in my notes as I go, because I don't want to be, overburdened with all the notes and miss some things, trying to skim through what I haven't said. And unfortunately, I accidentally deleted the name of the bridge, so that's not good. I need to find a better way to do this. But yeah. So eventually, the rebellion comes to the bridge. And it's a battalion led by Bighorn, and we met Bighorn in Head Games. Bighorn seems to be kind of a jerk, but he's actually beloved by the people in the Resistance. So Stiletto and Overshoot get ready to fight them. They activate the overcharged drones, and the whole battle breaks out. She fights against Bighorn herself for a little bit. The overcharged drones are sort of overcharged in order to blow up to destroy the bridge to prevent the Resistance from getting it. And Stiletto grabs Overshoot just before the bridge blows up. And it kills most of the Maximal forces, and they're just chilling. Like, okay, we need to relax for a bit. I think we're done. Then Bighorn comes out, and he's like all messed up, but he's like, I'm gonna kill you guys. You just wiped out my unit. And so they battle for a bit. Bighorn beats the crap out of them until Stiletto finally has her real memories come back. And the real memories is that Beta Bear was actually addicted to Nucleon and was attacking stuff in the aftermath of the giant riot that happened. And that's not right for a police officer to be doing that. So Stiletto eventually kills Beta Bear. And it was the death of Beta Bear that really, they wanted, the Maximal Command Security Force wanted to hide the fact that their officer just casually was killing people in the streets. So, and since Stiletto was, the moral Stiletto was privy to that and saw that, they decided, send her to Vampire to have those memories wiped out, replace the memories of killing Beta Bear with some guilt trip over killing Sea Panic. And with these memories back, Stiletto gets back into action and starts beating the crap out of Big Convoy, and eventually Bighorn dies. And so Overshoot and Stiletto start to work together, trying to help each other with their mental issues, specifically Stiletto's mental problems. Meanwhile, at Resistance headquarters, Baboom is sad because Bighorn died, and he asked Lyle Convoy to avenge Bighorn's death by launching an airstrike on the city. And Convoy is like, nah, we don't have the resources, we can't expend that, it's too much. And since Baboom's sad, he decides to, talk to him and talk about the times he spent with Bighorn in the past. Because, he's a loved member of the community, of the Resistance. Yeah. So this is sort of a mellow, just a mellow episode in the Beast Wars Uprising universe. And, yeah. This time we get to see a story from the point of view of the law enforcement, really, the Maximal Command Security Forces. Although not really, since they're still sort of the villains of the story if you look at Stiletto's flashbacks in that arc. We get some more plot twist here and there, like Wolfang's limb changing color. Things are being planted here that will continue to affect the future of the Beast Wars Uprising universe. So yeah, this is our third episode fourth, but our third podcast episode on the Transformers Beast Wars Uprising. Things are still depressing. At least this time, we don't see any Autobot or Decepticon we know and love be a freaking jerk. But yeah. Now, with that being said, I like the beginning of the month. Transformers Lore Podcast comes out every Wednesday at this current schedule. I don't want to do too much of one thing in one sitting, sort of like how Primus Plays works. So, next week, the beginning of September, I'm going to be doing a podcast on a different subject that's not Beast Wars Uprising. But after that, we're going to go back to Beast Wars Uprising. So the first Transformers Lore Podcast of the month will always be a different thing than what we're typically talking about. But yeah, Beast Wars Uprising is our main focus. Again, first of the month, different thing. It's actually going to be in the City. For those of you who don't know that, it's a script reading. But yeah, it's a trans-tech thing with Transformers Animated as a main focus. So I think you guys like that. And yeah, I think that's going to wrap up this episode of the Transformers Lore Podcast. Again, pretty short. The Transformers Lore Podcast isn't intended to be from the ground up a podcast. I think maybe I should add segments. Maybe make it more podcasty? Well, I don't know. Maybe I could take a question and answer on the podcast. Does that sound good? I don't know. At the same time, I don't want... These really are just supposed to be Transformers Lore episodes with no video. I don't want to add too much. Like, with Transformers Lore videos, you want to find something, you look it up, and you find it, you have a fairly short video. A video that gets to the point quick enough and explains things quick enough, and so you can understand it. I don't know how much I want some variation on the podcast. I'm very conflicted about this, but yeah. Thank you guys so much for watching. Subscribe if you want for more Transformers Lore podcast every Wednesday, Transformers Lore on Monday, and Primus Plays on Friday, along with some editorials and other type of videos here and there at different time periods. Follow me on Tumblr for memes, follow me on Twitter for updates to the channel. Join the Discord server to join the community, and join the Primus 122 subreddit for further discussion on Transformers lore. All of these links can be found in the description below. Again, thank you so much for watching, and have a good day, ladies and gentlemen.